You spend more waking hours at work than anywhere else, more than home, more than with your family, more than anywhere you chose to be. And the place that gets most of your life treats you in a way that is entirely determined by one number. Not your performance review, not your loyalty, not how hard you work or how long you've been there. The number on your offer letter, change the number, minus the entire system changes around you. This is how employers treat you at every level of it. Level 1, you. Clock in at 8:57. Your shift starts at 9 o'clock. You are not paid for the 3 minutes you spent putting on the uniform in the back room. You are not paid for the 4 minutes you spent waiting for the previous shift to hand over. You are not paid for the 12 minutes at the end of your shift, writing the handover notes your manager requires. You are paid for exactly the hours, the system records. Everything outside those hours is called dedication. The break room has a motivational poster. Something about teamwork. The poster costs more than the difference between your hourly rate and the living wage. Your manager is 26. She makes $18 an hour to manage 12 people making $11.50. She is not cruel. She is overworked and undertrained and caught between a district manager she is afraid of and a staff she is responsible for. The frustration runs downhill. It always runs downhill. You request a day off 3 weeks in advance. It gets approved. Then, unapproved 4 days before because someone else called in sick and the system can't cover it without you. You had plans. The plans weren't in the system. The system doesn't have a field for plans. You ask about a raise at your 6-month review. Your manager says that is a conversation for HR. HR sends you a form. The form goes to a regional office. The regional office sends back a standard letter with a percentage attached. The percentage is lower than inflation. They call it a merit increase. You call it Tuesday. At minimum wage. Your employer has calculated the exact minimum required to keep you from leaving. And they have decided that is exactly what you are worth paying. Level 2, you have a desk now. This feels like something. After the uniform, the clock-in machine, the break room with the motivational poster, minus a desk with your name on a plastic sign, feels like arrival. It isn't arrival. It is the next room. The desk comes with a job description that ends with the phrase and other duties as required. Those 5 words will account for approximately 30% of your actual working hours. They are not in the salary calculation. You have benefits, health insurance with $1, $2,000 deductible, that means you avoid the doctor anyway. A $400 wunk with a 3% match you can't fully access for 2 years. A 2-week vacation that requires approval 60 days in advance and cannot be taken in QF4 because QF4 is busy. The company has a values statement. It is printed on the wall in the lobby in large sans serif font. Innovation. Integrity. People first. You are people. You are not first. Your manager schedules a one-on-one every 2 weeks. It lasts 11 minutes on average. He spends the first 4 asking how you are. The next 5 talking about his priorities. The last 2 telling you to let him know if you need anything. You need 3 things. You don't say any of them, because asking for things at $35,000 has a cost, not a spoken cost, a social cost. A note in someone's mental file about whether you are a team player, whether you are difficult, whether you are the kind of person who makes things harder. At $35 the system needs you compliant more than it needs you excellent. Compliance is cheaper than excellence and easier to replace. Level 3 minus $75. 0, something changed and you are not sure exactly when. The meeting invites started, including you. Not all of them, minus the ones that matter, the ones where decisions get made before the official meeting, where the decision gets announced. Your manager asks your opinion. Before the call, not after, small things, invisible things, the kind of things you only notice looking backward. At $75, 0, you are no longer a resource. You are an investment. And investments get managed differently than resources. Your performance review takes 45 minutes now instead of 11. Your manager has read it before you walk in. There are specific examples. There is a development plan with your name typed at the top. The company sends you to a conference. 3 days, another. City, a hotel that has a gym. You sit in sessions about leadership and strategy and come back with a notebook full of things you'll never implement because the org chart above you hasn't changed. But they sent you. Sending you means they're thinking about keeping you. The headhunter calls for the first time. Not a cold call, minus someone referred your name. They have a role. 15%, more than you are making. You go to the coffee meeting out of curiosity and come back to your desk feeling something you haven't felt since you started, valuable. Not because the role was right, because someone outside the building decided you were worth a phone call. You mention the call to your manager. Carefully, not as a threat minus as information. He schedules a meeting with HR the next morning. At $75, the system has decided you cost more to replace than to retain. That changes everything about how it treats you. Level 4 minus $120. You have an office, not a big one, but a door that closes. And a door that closes is the single most meaningful status signal in a corporate building. It means your conversations are private. Your frustrations are contained. Your bad days are yours alone. Everyone without a door knows who has one. The assistant sends your calendar invites now. Not because you asked minus because someone decided your time was worth protecting. Protecting your time means someone else's job is to guard it. You are in the rooms where things are decided. Not all of them, but the ones that trickle down to the people at desks without doors. And being in those rooms means you understand something the people outside them don't, minus that half the decisions that look strategic from the outside are actually just whoever spoke most confidently. A Tuesday afternoon meeting. Your compensation is a package now, not a salary. A package, base, bonus, equity, benefits. Each component explained across 14 slides in an annual review that now runs 90 minutes. The company is investing in you on paper in 4 different directions simultaneously. The headhunter calls every quarter now. You don't always pick up, but you always check the number. Something else happens at $120,000. Your colleagues stop telling you certain things. The frustrations that circulate freely at $35,000 minus the complaints about the manager, the jokes about the bonus pool, the real feelings about the reorganization, minus those go quiet around you now. Because you are close enough to the top, that honesty has a risk attached to it. People calculate before they speak. You are no longer fully inside the culture. You are adjacent to power. And adjacent to power is its own kind of alone. Level 5 minus $200,000. The title changed, not the work. The title, Vice President, Director, Head of Senior. The word senior in front of a job title is a signal that has nothing to do with age and everything to do with the system's willingness to hand you a flag and say, this outcome is yours now. Ownership without equity, accountability without authority. The gap between those two things is where most careers quietly break. You manage people now, real ones. People with desks and plans the system has no field for. People who remind you of someone minus yourself 3 levels ago, minus, and you feel the pull to protect them from what you now understand about how this works. Sometimes you do. Sometimes the quarter closes, and you realize you protected nobody because the numbers needed protecting more. The company flies you business class now, not because you asked, because someone decided the optics of a vice president in economy were inconsistent with the brand. The upgrade costs the company $800. It costs you nothing. It signals to everyone watching, minus the people below you, the clients across the table, minus that the company has decided you are worth the signal. You sit in the business class seat and think about the version of you who used to watch people walk past the curtain. You don't feel like you won. You feel like you finally understand the game, and understanding the game is not the same as winning it. Your loyalty has been tested in the years it took to get here. Not dramatically, minus quietly. Small choices. Whether to tell the truth in a meeting where the truth was inconvenient. Whether to protect someone below you when protecting them cost you something above. Whether to stay when the leaving would have been easier. At $200, the company owns more of you than your salary suggests. It bought your identity on installment, and nobody told you the terms. Level 6 minus $350. You are in the org chart, not somewhere in the middle, minus near the top. The version of the org chart that circulates internally, that gets shown to investors, that appears in the annual report. Your name is in a document that will exist after you leave. The company treats you like an asset now, not a human asset, minus a balance sheet asset. Something to be managed, protected, leveraged, and eventually depreciated. Your contract has a non-compete clause, 18 months. It covers a geographic area so broad and a competitive definition so wide that it effectively means we own the next year and a half of your professional life after you leave. Regardless of when or why you leave, you signed it on day one without reading it carefully because they needed an answer by Friday. The executive coach arrives, not because you asked, because someone above you decided that the gap between where you are and where they need you to be is best closed by an outside professional who bills $500 an hour and reports back on your development. The coach is good, genuinely good, perceptive and structured and useful in ways your manager never had time to be. But you notice something in the third session. The coach's job is not to make you excellent. The coach's job is to make you excellent for this company. The development is real. The direction is theirs. You get invited to the leadership offsite. 2 days at a resort. Sessions about vision and culture and the next 3 years. Excellent food. Uncomfortable honesty exercises where people say difficult things in a safe container that disappears the moment you land back in the office. By the second evening, the conversation turns to the people below. Who is ready? Who isn't? Who needs managing out? You realize you are now on the committee that decides what happens to the people who used to be your peers. The view from this side of the table is colder than you expected. Level 7 minus $500. 0. The company needs you more than you need the company. This is the threshold that changes everything minus, not the number, but what the number represents. At $500,000, you are not a senior employee. You are a dependency. Clients know your name. Relationships live in your contacts list. Institutional knowledge lives in your head, and nowhere in the documented processes that were supposed to capture it. The business would survive without you. But the quarter you leave would be a difficult one. That knowledge changes how you move, not arrogantly, quietly, the way someone moves when they know the exits. Your compensation is renegotiated now. Not reviewed, minus renegotiated. There is a difference. A review is the company deciding what you are worth. A negotiation is two parties deciding what the relationship is worth. You are in a negotiation. For the first time in your career, you are in a genuine negotiation. Retention bonus, accelerated vesting, a title adjustment that costs the company nothing but signals to the outside world that you are not going anywhere. They are buying your staying, not your working minus your staying. Because replacing you at this level costs the company between 1 and 2 times your annual salary in recruitment, onboarding, lost relationships, and reduced output during transition. They have a spreadsheet for this. You will never see it, but you can feel it in the room. The way the CFO looks at you when compensation comes up. The way. The offer is structured before you've asked a question. At $500, 0, you have become a number on a retention risk spreadsheet. And for the first time, being a number on a spreadsheet works entirely in your favor. Somewhere right now, someone is clocking in. 8:57, shift starts at 9 o'clock. They are not being paid for these 3 minutes. The system has calculated the exact minimum required to keep them. And 3 miles away, minus same company, different building, different floor, minus someone is renegotiating their retention package. The company is calculating the maximum it can pay to keep them. Same company, same logo, same value statement printed in the lobby. Innovation. Integrity. People first. The system doesn't decide who you are. The system decides what your number entitles you to. And for most people, minus for almost everyone, minus that realization arrives too late. After the years, after the compliance, after the decade of being the kind of person the system needed you to be. The people who move through the levels fastest are not the ones who worked hardest at each level. They are the ones who understood early that the system rewards the appearance of being ready for the next level before you are. Not performance, signal, not excellence, perception. The clock and machine doesn't know the difference, but the person who controls your next offer letter does. The question was never whether you deserved the next level. The question was always whether the right person believed you were already there.